staying on Article 370, the article also had very regressive provisions when it comes to the rights of women, when it comes to rights of refugees who had migrated during the partition, as well as a lot of Dalits. So can you tell us about that? What was it like for different social groups under this particular article?
Yes, well, because of the partition, there was a massive migration between India and Pakistan in 1947. And a massive number of people came to Jammu and Kashmir as well, whom we called West Pakistan refugees. They, however, did not get any citizenship rights or any state subject rights uh, under the new government or the new dispensation Jammu and Kashmir got after the princely state basically got converted into a proper state under the Constitution of India and became part of India. Now, why did that happen? That happened because Jammu and Kashmir had its own constitution. Jammu and Kashmir had its own permanent residency laws. And according to those permanent residency laws, only the native people of Jammu and Kashmir who were natives under the Dogra rule became the state subjects of Jammu and Kashmir under its own constitution. And unfortunately, the Constitution of India recognized Jammu and Kashmir's right to do so under Article 35A in the Constitution of India. So, which meant that if there were refugees who had come in 1947 and they were living in Jammu and Kashmir as refugees, as West Pakistan refugees, they had absolutely no rights as citizens or state subjects of Jammu and Kashmir. It also meant that, a large number of Valmiki community, Valmikis essentially Dalits, who were brought from Punjab and nearby states to Jammu and Kashmir for menial jobs like, a sweeper class and for other municipality work. And they remained also outside, not even the margins, but outside the margins of society, because they did not get any state subject rights in J&K under the permanent residency laws of Jammu and Kashmir. Then, of course, there was another category of women who were married, who married outside the state, for example, until 2001, 2002. Women, if they married outsiders, which meant if they married non-state subjects, were disqualified as citizens of Jammu and Kashmir under its permanent residency laws. I, of course, married in 2005 and by 2001, 2002, the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir, after a long, long legal battle, had slightly reversed this whole regressive law of Jammu and Kashmir, which disqualified women if they were married to non-state subjects. But there was a certain disclaimer to that. Any woman who had married outside the state, their children could not inherit any citizenship rights. They could not inherit any land or property of their parents. They could not pursue higher education in Jammu and Kashmir, which meant that my siblings who had female cousins who had married outside the state, their children could not inherit any state subject rights in the state. So that discrimination had continued even after 2002. And that has been reversed after the nullification of 35A, which is connected to the permanent residency laws, which was connected to that. That again has been reversed because now both 35A and 370 were nullified when the state was reorganized last year, bifurcated into 2 union territories, and Jammu and Kashmir became 1 union territory and Ladakh became another union territory. and all the domicile idea or the domicile laws that Jammu and Kashmir had been granted under the Dogra rules, they were nullified too. So one important thing that the central government did in the last 1 year after the nullification of 35A and 370 was issuance of domicile certificate not only to the natives of Jammu and Kashmir, but also to West Pakistan refugees, but also to the Valmiki community, the Dalits, and also to the children and children of the women who had married outside the state, and also, of course, women who had married outside the state long ago. So that discrimination has ended, that injustice has ended, that illiberalism has ended finally. So I would say that with that, and of course, one more thing happened, that the new domicile law in Jammu and Kashmir has also extended citizenship or native land, not land, but native rights to education and employment to people who have served in Jammu and Kashmir for at least 15 years, and people who have studied there to a certain class. So there are many other things that have happened to people who have really spent time and devoted their life to the state. Another thing that the government did in the recent past was issuing a notification on land laws. So now the land of Jammu and Kashmir is open to the rest of India, which means the citizens of rest of India can go and buy land there, can settle down there, as Kashmiri people or Jammu and Kashmir people have been enjoying that right in the rest of India. In every small pocket of India, if you really see, in any urban pocket, you will see a little Kashmir has been established through traders, through Kashmiri Muslim population, or even Kashmiri Pandit population that migrated in the last 30 years because of cross-border terrorism in Kashmir. So I think a lot of progressive changes have happened, and it is going to create a far better and far more advanced and progressive, pluralistic, and I would say also diverse society in Jammu and Kashmir, especially in Kashmir, which had become homogenous after 1990 because of terrorism.
Namaste. We hope you enjoyed this Chitti Media content. Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.